Welcome to MJJ Taylor's Miles Regan First Day. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. And check out our other books in a new series called Short Stories Written by MJJ Taylor. Chapter 3, Handover. It was cooler here. The hum of the vending machine, the faint tang of carpet cleaner, a softer kind of institutional stink than the bleach and sweat cocktail he'd already swallowed downstairs. A row of interview rooms lined the corridor. Identical boxes, frosted glass panels, thin doors, red indicator lights above them, all dead. The kind of rooms where the walls kept secrets until you signed them into evidence. "Handover in 10, Hart said, gum rolling in his cheek like a slow drum beat. "Quick brief, then we'll take a motor out, show you the high street. Sunday morning, you'll see more tracksuits than Oxford Street. Welcome to Lewisham, son." A door clicked open. A man stepped out, smoothing his tie with one hand, folders balanced in the other. He was the sort of figure who could have walked straight out of a city boardroom. Gray suit sharp enough to cut, shoes polished mirror bright, hair swept neat and dark. The smile was ready-made, faintly plastic, but it faltered for a heartbeat when he clocked the two uniforms in the corridor. Richard Vale, solicitor. The pause was short but clear, a rabbit in torchlight. Then the smile clicked back on, professional, unruffled. Vale nodded politely and kept walking, his footsteps quick but controlled. "Bloody briefs," Hart muttered under his breath. "Make 3 times our wages, spend half as long in the room, and never once have to scrape piss out the back of a van? Bastards." Miles half smiled, but his eyes were still on the solicitor. Vale's hand dipped into his pocket. A phone came out, smooth black, and he was already speaking into it as he turned the corner. Miles caught it. Just a whisper as they passed, low and urgent, words that stuck sharp. "He's in 8. The phone snapped shut with a clean click. Vale adjusted his tie, straightened his shoulders, and walked like nothing had ever happened. Miles frowned, his tongue pushed against his teeth. He opened his mouth, thought about saying it, then closed it again. "First day. Keep your head down. Don't go running your gob unless you're sure." Hart clapped his shoulder hard enough to jolt him. "Come on, rookie." Briefing room before the governor bites. Behind them, Vale's footsteps carried away. Steady, deliberate, too calm. The briefing room. The handover room had the atmosphere of a bus depot crossed with a classroom. The smell hit first. Instant coffee burned into powder, sweat soaked into chairs, stale paper warmed by strip lights. Plastic chairs lined in uneven rows were filled with uniforms and high-vis tabards. PCs slouched, shirts rumpled, ties tugged loose. Some stared blankly at their notebooks. Others cradled mugs of tea that had gone cold 10 minutes earlier. Along the wall, custody detention officers leaned with clipboards, swapping digs under their breath. At the front stood Sergeant Tom Radcliffe. Tall, broad, silver hair clipped close, his shirt sleeves rolled with military neatness. He carried his clipboard like it was an extension of his hand, his presence pinning the room before he'd even spoken. He didn't need to raise his voice. Weight did the work for him. "Right," Radcliffe said, scanning the room. "Custody update before patrols. 22 in the block. Usual Saturday grief." A couple of groans rolled from the back. Nobody laughed. He flicked the first page on his clipboard. "Cell 1, Wayne Fowler, drunk and disorderly, picked up just after 3 outside the King's Arms. Tried to headbutt the van partition, still too pissed for interview. Once he sobers, we'll get him in with a brief. Currently singing Oasis on loop." A low groan came from CDO Price. Bald, stocky, high-vis unzipped over his shirt. "If he hits Wonderwall again, I'm moving him in with Tank." The room chuckled. Chairs squeaked as officers shifted. "Cell 2, Radcliffe continued, turning a page. "Martin Ellis, known as Tank, Arsenal, arrested about 6:20 outside his ex's flat. Breach of bail, also common assault at the White Horse earlier. Victim needed 4 stitches. Gave the night shift the runaround since 4. Only just got him booked in." CDO, Patel rolled her eyes, arms crossed over her neon vest. "Settled? He's been rattling that door like a gorilla since he landed," Price added. "At least when he's chanting, he ain't swinging." Radcliffe glanced back down at the clipboard, then added dryly, And according to the arresting officers, he managed to put a Chelsea player flat on his back outside the pub. One punch. For the first time in the briefing, a ripple of real laughter rolled through the room. Chairs squeaked, someone whistled low. Even Patel cracked a grin. Morris chuckled into his coffee. Arsenal finally getting one over Chelsea. Took Tank to do it. From his seat, Hart leaned sideways toward Miles, muttering low. X'll be glad he's banged up. Arsenal fans, no sense of timing. Miles scribbled notes like a schoolboy, his pen skating nonsense just to look busy. Radcliffe flipped another page. Cell 3, Carla Jennings. Domestic assault. Gin bottle over partner's head. Arrested at 2. Interviewed with brief, CPS authorized charge. Remanded court tomorrow. Morris, a big-shouldered CDO with a mop of ginger hair, raised his coffee. Tried flooding the cell. Twice. Proper romance. A ripple of tired laughter. Cell 4, Darren Miller, known as Daz. Cannabis cultivation, 10 plants, 3 ounces bagged. Arrested 6 a.m. after giving officers the runaround. Just booked in. No interview yet. Solicitor notified. From down the corridor, a muffled voice floated in. Sing-song. Feeding the community, mate. The room chuckled. Patel shook her head. He asked me to water his plants. Nearly spat my tea. Radcliffe didn't even twitch. He kept reading. Cell 5. Patty Doyle. Market thief. 3 handbags lifted in Catford yesterday evening. Interviewed. Admitted 2. Denied 1. Bail refused. Currently cuffed to the bench after trying to nick a pen. Court tomorrow. Patel muttered loud enough for all to hear. She'd nick the clock off the wall if you turned your back. More chuckles. Cell 6, Amir Khan. Public order offense. Arrested midnight for racist abuse. Tried to square up to a horse. Not interviewed yet. Still aggressive. Hart deadpan. If the horse swung first, lad'd be an A&E. Ripples of laughter chased through the room. Radcliffe turned the page. The levity thinned. The air shifted. Cell 8. Adam Clark. Alias Spectre. Arrested under the Terrorism Act. Category A detainee. The clipboard didn't shake, but the pause landed. Not interviewed yet. Counter-terror officers will sit in. Only access has been his solicitor, Richard Vale, who signed in earlier this morning. Clark doesn't leave 8 unless I authorize it, and I won't be authorizing it. The silence that followed pressed heavy. A young PC near the back whispered, "Didn't think he was real." Another muttered, "Celebrity prisoner." Half the nutters think he's a prophet. Patel snorted, "Celeb? Looks more like a rat." Radcliffe lifted his eyes. His voice was flat, cold. He's not a celeb. He's not a prophet. He's another bastard in a box. Remember that. The room went quiet. Chairs stopped squeaking. Even Price's smirk dimmed. Radcliffe snapped his clipboard shut. Jennings and Doyle are court tomorrow. Ellis, Miller, Kahn, Fowler. Awaiting interview. The rest are sobering or waiting on briefs. CDOS. Keep 'em fed and breathing. Officers, try not to cock it up. Questions? Price raised his paper cup. Yeah. Can I bin Fowler if he starts Wonderwall again? A ripple of laughter broke the silence. Radcliffe allowed the faintest smile. Tempting. Number. That's your lot. Miles. Pens scratched. Chairs shifted. The low drone of weary chatter filled the room again. Miles scribbled furiously, but the words swam uselessly. Fowler, Ellis, Jennings, Clark. They blurred, a mess of names and charges. His mind wasn't here. It was still in the corridor, watching a solicitor's lips form words he shouldn't have heard. He's an 8. It played back like a recording, a whisper trapped in his ear. He'd said nothing. He'd kept it down. A rookie's instinct to stay quiet. Rookie mistake.